Eternal Return has spent over 2.5 years in early access, and it's finally gearing up for its full release. With so much content changes still up in the air, we're all hoping for a smooth transition into Eternal Return 1.0. Will it be ready? Who knows? But today we'll focus on the early access experience and whether I felt like it was worth my time. Be sure to leave your Eternal Return early access review in the comments as well. What's poppin' everyone, it's your boy Levi, and today we're going to be answering the question of if Eternal Return early access was worth playing. Compared to the early alpha version, Eternal Return has undergone a massive transformation. We've seen new item recipes, changes in item locations, the introduction of active items and augments, updates to Hyperloop's locations, and a total of 64 characters by the end of early access. It's safe to say that the game has come a long way. One common criticism of Eternal Return is its high skill floor, making it challenging for casual players to grasp. If you take a look at the Steam reviews, you'll find many players expressing their concerns about the game not being new player friendly. I want to address these concerns and provide some insight. I recently came across a review where a player felt like it was too late for newcomers to learn this game. Now, that might sound a bit absurd, considering the game hasn't even been officially released yet. However, it does highlight an important issue. Let's break it down. Eternal Return is undeniably complex, and success doesn't come easy. The game has a dedicated queue called New Player Queue, where your initial matches will be against bots. It's designed to ease you into the game gradually. This gives new players a false sense of immediate success, not representative of the true gameplay experience. As you progress, you'll start facing other new players mixed in with bots, and you'll still do well in these lobbies. Eventually, you'll be matched into full human player lobbies. Due to the smaller player base in the West, you might find yourself up against opponents of varying skill levels. It can be discouraging at first, especially when experienced players wipe the floor with you. I'm almost level 200 in this game, and I still get put in lobbies with people who are just around level 20. After getting decimated lobby after lobby, the game does adjust and match you with opponents closer to your skill level over time. A lot of players don't get to this point because they're discouraged that they're no longer getting kills and winning games. Which brings me on to my next point. What defines a win in Eternal Return? It's ingrained very early into a new player's mind that winning in Eternal Return is winning the game. This is because there's no stakes in normal games, so anything that isn't a win feels like a loss. Seasoned veterans often measure success differently. They look at the LP adjustments in ranked modes. If they gain LP, that's probably a win to them. It's crucial to shift your mindset away from solely focusing on victory. Not all characters are built for winning games outright. Some excel in different areas. Adina dominates late game scenarios and will win a lot of games. She does struggle in the early game to get there though. Shoichi doesn't do well in crowded safe zones. He wants to get kills early while the map is still spread out, and won't make it to final zone most of the time. Even the best Shoichis in Korea have lower win rates. Understanding this can enhance your experience and free you from the win or lose mentality. Let's talk about one of the best aspects of Eternal Return, the abundance of free content. Nimble Neuron, the creators of the game, have been incredibly generous over the years. They give out MP, the in-game currency for cosmetics, through various fun events. You can still have a completely free-to-play experience and still enjoy the game to the fullest. Characters can be acquired with A-Coin, which you can earn simply by playing matches, completing challenges, and completing the battle path. Most early access players like myself have way more A-Coin than they will ever need. If you are worried about wasting your A-Coin on a character you might not like, the practice tool mode allows you to test drive a character for free. There's also a rotation of free characters each patch to try in normal games. This really accelerates the learning process for characters. The learning process of the game is a different story. The tutorial has improved, but it still has some room for enhancement. Thankfully, the creators in the community have your back. You can find numerous YouTube videos that cover every aspect of the game, and streamers are always open to answering questions. Do keep in mind that with Eternal Return 1.0's release, it's essential to seek up-to-date guides, as older ones might not be relevant anymore. The community is tightly knit, and it's always willing to help. Every community, though, has its share of toxic individuals, but in my experience, it's quite rare in Eternal Return. The game's nature doesn't foster much toxicity. There's no all chat in the main modes, and I rarely see players waiting in post-game lobby to vent out their frustrations. The waiting really does give time to calm down, and infrequent queues in the West mean the focus is on getting to the next game. But let's tackle the elephant in the room. The queue times. This is the single most significant problem in the West for Eternal Return. Character balance has largely been addressed, and most game-breaking bugs have been squashed. However, the limited player base puts pressure on matchmaking. It's a cycle where players hesitate to queue up due to low player counts, and players who do queue up don't get games or skipped, which in turn perpetuates the problem. Rank matches only pop in the higher elos around 10 PM Eastern time, despite numerous high elo players being online earlier. With the release of Eternal Return 1.0, I'm hoping it hits a reset button on player mentality, and we see improvements in queue times. Having a unified queue might help alleviate the issue as well. Everyone knows at this point I'm a solos player, and yeah, I'm disappointed that solos is being removed at the start of release. But let it be known that I fully plan to heavily dive into squads, and that's because I love this game. Eternal Return is an absolute blast to play. Despite the online discourse, decreasing player numbers, and recent mixed review status on Steam, there's a reason we all keep coming back. It's genuinely fun, and learning Eternal Return is an incredibly rewarding experience. Even players who have moved on from the game still remain connected through the in-house Discord or by watching Eternal Return streamers. I've also seen players claim that learning Eternal Return has improved their skills in other games, thanks to its complexity. So yes, without a doubt, Eternal Return Early Access was worth playing. I personally poured in over 2,500 hours, grinding night after night to reach the top ranks. This game has been more than an enjoyable experience. If you're a player who hasn't touched the game in a while, I encourage you to come back on release. The game is being transformed and a lot will be different from when you left. I'll be putting out an Eternal Return guide for returning players at some point around release, so be on the lookout for that. If you don't want my word for it, hopefully there will be some other Eternal Return views in the comments. Be sure to click or tap the screen now and you'll be taken to a video where we look at the Eternal Return community had to say in the Steam reviews for this game.